necessarily reflect those of B1039, Up North Radio, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Time for Curries Corner, brought to you by Big Rapids Pennzoil and Auto Repair, Seth Winger at the Winger Insurance Agency, Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile, Barrington Firearms and Training Center, DW2 Drywall,
the Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids, and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus,
and Michigan Landscape and Excavate.
There's a man named Pat Curry, he's got a passion for the news. Brings the stories of Big Rapids and across the county view.
Okay, Pete Kent says that's enough of that.
Okay, if you are...
Cut it off, I'm in a hurry.
Are we on the air, Bob? Are we on the air? You know, if you are expecting to hear... And don't be talking over me, please.
I'm going to shut up now, and
all
you got the place for the next 2 hours.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Joe Bechaz asked me to be on with him this morning. Joe's kind of running things. But if you're expecting Pat Curry to be here, you are sadly mistaken. Mr. Pat is in Ohio. He'll be back tomorrow night. And he's only been gone about 5 weeks, and we've sure missed him down at Curry's. We hope he never comes back. Really. So we had a lot of fun, but I wanted to say hi to my favorite person. I saw her out for fish the other night, Jeannie Fribley. Hey, Jeannie, I love you. You know that. And I want to say hi to all the FedEx drivers coming down from Cadillac. I haven't been on in a while, so I get just kind of a little messed up on talking. But, you know, I really appreciate you having us on here, Bob. And I'm going to probably let Joe Bechaz, he wants to, I hope he doesn't start talking baseball and this kind of stuff. But I kind of would like to talk about the good old days, what's happening down in the good old days. And, Joe, what do you got to say, Joe? Don't clutch up on me now.
Well, I ain't got much to say. I'm not sure if you're going to interrupt me or not. So, anyway.
I would never do that.
I don't have much to say, but anyway, it's a pleasure being here, I guess.
Anyway. That's the show, folks.
Yeah. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the show. It was on for 6 minutes.
Yeah, wow,
but, you know, we talked to Pat this morning, and he went down and he came through the little bit of the storm area down in the south, and we're just glad he's getting around and getting back home, and we kind of really miss him at Curry's. And you know, first thing I did, I saw Kim Wells this morning, and what a great guy. He's got to go, and I want everybody to pray for Kim. He's got to go to Mayo tomorrow morning for his yearly checkup, and it's you know, it's always a big one when you go there. So have Kim Wells in your prayers, because he probably would appreciate it very much. And the other thing is Randy Vetter. I met with Randy this morning, and he kept telling me something about I owe him a steak. I don't know what I owe him a steak for, but he said I made a bet that I owe him a steak. Well, I'm going to think about getting him a tube steak. And if you know what a tube steak is, that's a hot dog on a bun. But otherwise, I think that, you know, Joe and I will have a little bit of fun here this morning. We'll talk a little bit about the old days. Joe poured all my basements, by the way. He poured I had some rental units, and he was pouring the basements when he was just a little kid. I remember Joe when he was just kind of a kid, and now he's grown into be one fine young man. He's very hardworking, very dedicated. He's got a great wife, great kids, and I love his grandson, Jackson.
Yep.
I think he's going to be a superstar in basketball. I think he is going to be.
He's got some abilities.
Yeah, but Joe, you know, he's one of the most polite young men I think I've ever met. He's just a real class act. And, you know, I was thinking about Joe. Joe helped me move my cleaners. Back in the 60s, we had a little thing called urban renewal. So they kicked a lot of us business people out, and we went down to
Wright's Bakery.
Yeah, 1 block north. And Joe was one to dismantle my boiler, my dry cleaning machine, and he kind of hooked it up for me and got her going. And we were only there about 2 years, and then I went to where Pete's Cleaners was, which is now Keller Real Estate Office. And I was there for about 50 years, and, you know, I had a lot of fun. But the good old days were the good old days. You know, I can remember I rented from Doc White, and I remember he had a Lincoln Continental convertible with suicide doors. Now, I was barely riding a bicycle. I didn't have that kind of money to buy one of those, but I felt like I was in luxury with him. And, it's just a lot of the old guys, Bob Miles, Judge Miles, I was talking about Newell Donnelly. Talked about Mert Craft. You went and tried to get a loan from Mert. And, he gave you all you wanted. Bill Deaver. You had Jerry Anderson at the bank. And across the street, you had John Berglund and Norm Silvernail. And
actually, my dad, when I was 16, he took my
Tell us that story, Joe.
He took my brother and I to both banks to borrow some money to buy a cow, believe it or not. And so we did. No, it's to buy a cow. And that helped us build us credit and teach us how to be financially sound, I guess. Anyway, we were pretty lucky as kids. My stepdad, Red Baumick, actually gave us, my mother always said, probably more opportunities. My dad was killed in a farm accident when I was about 5, and later my mother married Red, and the rest is history, as they say. Anyway, but yes.
Well, Joe, my dad was shot down and killed. He was in the Flying Tigers.
Geez.
And when I was 3 years old, I was born in Shanghai, China. And I'm not on the tariff list, so do not get on me about tariffs. I'm an American. I was born American. My mom and dad my mom lived over there all her life in China. And she is not Chinese, by the way. She was from San Francisco. But, it's funny how...
China, where was you at? Shanghai?
I was in Shanghai. I was born in Shanghai.
But that was a British colony.
Yeah, it was British. That's where all the British people were. And then you got Taiwan. I just went over to Beijing. I wanted to climb the wall with my wife, and I watched her climb the wall. I wasn't going up there climbing that wall. But, getting back to something else beside that stuff, I just want to say Friday night I was at a restaurant, and I looked across. I heard this voice and this laugh, and I looked across the road or the thing, the aisle, the hallway, and there was Bob Aldridge and Mr. Michaels, and the guy from the Pioneer,
Remington,
and we got to chit-chatting, and my wife was madder than Hades at me. She said, "We thought you went to the bathroom." I said, "No, I was talking to Bob over there, my buddy."
I think we were waiting for us to buy you dinner.
That's what it was. I already had eaten, Bob.
Oh, well, you were waiting
I was
for
watching
dinner,
you eat your fish.
Yeah.
You were good. You are
at
good.
the Eagles.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to mention where, Bob.
Well, I'll be happy to, because we just joined there, so we're now members.
Friday nights they have good fish. I usually like to go to St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Support. I'm being a Catholic.
Plenty of weeks in Lent. You can go to both.
Yeah, I like to support the church, Bob.
Yep.
I go on Saturday night at 4:00.
Yep.
For church, and not to get into religion or anything, which I don't. I don't talk about religion. I don't talk about money.
But he's going to now.
No, I don't. I never will talk about that. Okay. No, I don't.
Yeah.
And a guy I really miss. Pat Curry always sat across from me here, and I got on this show. I remember years ago, Jen had me on for a 5-minute deal, and something I was talking for 5 minutes. And I said, you ought to get Pat Curry on this show because he would do a great job. And then so years later, which a couple of years later, Pat and I did a little bit of a skit here. We never know what we're going to say. We just get up here and we start talking. And you can't have a lot of dead air because the boss back there, Jen, would come in here and either cut us off or slap us around. And I'm shocked she didn't bring any donuts this morning for us. This used to be really a fun place. We'd have donuts and coffee and all that good stuff. We don't have that anymore. But that's okay because Bob isn't buying. So, Joe, what do you think about that?
I'd like to get back to that steak story.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
This morning, Bob, this is the first time I heard Pete Kent admit that he made a bet with Randy.
I said maybe. I don't remember.
And he goes, because you bought him 2 breakfasts at Curry's, right?
Yep.
And Randy says, well, that's just the interest on the bet. Because they had a big steak bet or something.
Yeah, well,
Anyway,
what steak is it? Is it a steak like at a restaurant? You just like,
No. I'm going to give him a frozen steak.
Yeah.
And Pat Curry's bringing it in, and I know it'll be a good steak because it's from Peterson's Farm.
Okay.
And Pete was on the board of me with the school board 15, 16 years ago, and it's a strange situation. The two Curry boys, and they are great kids, Matt and Adam. They married two of the most beautiful women I think I've ever seen, and nicest women. It's Amanda and Mackenzie. And they were Petersons. Two Currys married two Petersons, and what do they have, Bob? Nice little kids, right?
Yeah.
And nice little grandkids. They're not like Pat. Pat's kind of a blowhard, and we just have a lot
Pat
of fun.
has to be in the middle because he's a horse breeder, so he wants to make sure that the lineage is for,
Yeah.
So
Hey, you want to talk about the horses, Bob? I went out there. They said I won the celebrity harness race from the Friends of Ferris, and I think Joe was there that night when I got it. And I was kind of cheap. I put in $50, and everyone kind of supported me. But I was 76 years old. I wasn't smart. And so Matt said, okay, you got to. Well, I didn't think it was going to be much. So I'm jogging around the horse track, and then all of a sudden a deer runs across, and that horse spooked a little bit. And then a few minutes next time around, a wild dog, I swear, was being chased by a cat. And I don't know if it was one of Pat's cats at the barn, but and then I got to be. Matt always rode side saddle with me a little bit.
Yeah.
So I went back into the barn the next day, and Matt wasn't around, but Pat was, and he was going to pull a real funny on me. So he puts me on Big Red. Now, if you know Big Red, it was the tallest, meanest, prettiest horse I've ever seen in my life. And so when I got on that horse, Bob, I could not control him. He had his own head. And it's funny because in a celebrity harness race, I beat him by 10 lengths. Maybe 8 lengths, I don't know, but I won it, and I don't know how I won it. Pat said they drew for the horses. I was the last draw because I let everybody else draw first, and I was lucky enough, number one, to get a good horse.
Right.
But it was the last horse left.
Big Red?
Yeah, no. Big Red was Sweeney rode Big Red. I rode a horse that was had raced 3 races earlier.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know what I was getting into. They said, would you ever drive that horse again? No. Well, here you are on 2 bicycle wheels.
Yep.
You're on a bicycle seat, and you got a pair of reins. I said, well, where's the seat belt? And they said, what's a seat belt?
Yeah, right.
I said, well, how am I going to, if I fall off? He said, you fall off.
You fall off.
Well, I was going around the track on the inside like Pat and Matt told me, and I started sliding. And I thought, oh, my goodness. I was saying my Hail Marys and Our Fathers.
Yeah.
Well, I wound up winning by a few lengths, and it was a lot of fun. But
there you go.
Yeah, I'm tired of talking.
Look back at it, it was fun. When you were there in the moment, maybe not so much fun.
The way Pat tells the story is Pete's the first driver that went the whole race with his eyes closed.
They were, too. They were closed.
And
luckily, let the horse take wherever
and the horse
to go.
Yeah, the horse took over.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Well, it's good. You got a horse that knows what to do them down.
Yes.
And you don't.
Well, it was really a seeing eye blind horse. Like the horse was blind, but he knows how to go around that track.
He's got GPS.
And when they train, it's funny. They go counterclock. They go the other way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. When they go for real, we go counterclock, and practice they go clock. Well, whatever it is, one way or the other.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something. When those horses know they're going to go for a race, they don't mess around. My daughter, Renee Kent, she's a principal of Riverview. She had a horse that was pregnant. Gave birth to a baby maybe 3 or 4 months later. And I felt so bad. She came in last and I came in first, but it was like a sandwich. The other 3 guys were in between the Kents.
Yep.
So it was so much fun to I was hoping maybe Joe could do this, and he would be yelling and screaming.
No, we were on the Friends of Ferris board, and you took it over.
I didn't.
Pete has been known to be the only participant in that actually never had to pay any part of his ride.
Well, I paid $50 of it.
Well, you never paid it.
Oh, yeah, I did.
You raised your hand at 50.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
He had backers, you know. So.
Yeah, well, then everybody else, I'll give 100 to it. I'll give 100 to it.
Of course.
And we raised $3,000 or $4,000, and we gave that for the Angels of Action.
Nice.
And, that was such a great thing. We were down in front of the bank, and they took pictures of us, and they took my picture last because they didn't want to break the camera first. But
you represented the Friends Affairs.
Yeah, I represented, but it was writing for the Angels of Action.
Yeah,
and that was my charity. And I had to get my own T-shirt, and I made sure it was pink for the ladies.
Yeah,
because it was cancer awareness. And I wrote for a great group, the Angels of Action, and Joni Thompson has done immaculate. She's done a great job on this thing. And she's taken it to another level where now they have a church, and they just hired my friend, Miss Cox.
You mean they bought a church?
Well, I think they were donated a church. I think they were given a church.
I think it was the Baptist, wasn't it?
I don't know, Joe. I'm Joe.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. But you know what? I'm a Catholic, so I really don't know many of the churches in town. I just go to St. Mary's or St. Paul's.
Yep.
But go ahead.
Downtown, right across from the county building there.
Yeah, I know, yeah. That way they can get more money from somebody.
There you go, yeah.
But, Joe, come on, let's talk. You're kind of like the leader here.
No,
All right, you know what?
I'm not.
Let me let you collect your thoughts.
Yeah, let's take a break. And, Bob, if you do not play Return to Sender one time during this late show.
Well, I have to wait because we're on the stream. We can't play music afterwards.
So go ahead and play what you want to play.
Yeah,
maybe Jen wants to come in and say a few words, and
I think she's speechless.
It's kind of going slow in here,
it's like,
Jen.
what have they done with my station? Yeah.
We might need your help. Help.
Yep. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more of Curry's Corner with Joe Bechaz and Pete Kent, or Pete Kent and Joe Bechaz.
There you go. Thank you.
Thanks, Bobby.
Coming back up.
Where do you go for Michigan's #1 concealed pistol license course? The same place thousands of Michigan residents have over the past 15 years, the Barrington Firearms Training Center. The BFTC conducts state-certified CPL courses right here locally inside the Barrington Conservation Club at 3444 18 Mile Road in Barrington. For just $99, all you need to bring us is your Michigan ID to these all-inclusive one-day CPL courses, which include the use of firearms, ammo, eye and ear protection, coffee and donuts in the morning, and lunch at noon. That's right, just $99 gets you everything needed to take the police department instructed course that includes the training necessary to safely load, unload, handle, and store your firearm. Students will also be trained on when it is legal to defend themselves with a firearm under Michigan's Stand Your Ground law and Castle Doctrine. Call 231-250-7257 or go online at michigancpltraining.com to register for one of their upcoming $99 all-inclusive CPL courses. Get armed, get trained at the Barrington Firearms Training Center.
Pennzoil in Big Rapids is your quick-stop shop for oil changes and so much more. With certified techs and 35 years experience, they'll have you in and out in a flash, and a free car wash with every service. And don't forget about tires. As quickly as the seasons change in Michigan, it's easy to lose your grip. Luckily, Pennzoil in Big Rapids has the tires you need to dominate all seasons in Michigan. Big tires, fast tires, grippy tires, sleek tires. Go see Zach Wells at Big Rapids Pennzoil today. He'll get you back on the road and ready to roll. That's Big Rapids Pennzoil, located at 710 North State Street, or give them a call at 231-796-4730.
Dale I've known for many, many years, and I tell you what, when somebody needs some help, he's there. Just like your typical Mecosta County resident, Dale Whaley is a good American. So if you're ever looking for a drywaller for free estimate, call Dale. I'm telling you, you're going to be happy with his work. I have recommended Dale to a lot of people, and you know what the greatest compliment I've ever gotten is thanks for sending Dale. He did a great job for me. Guy's just fantastic. Just not only is a drywaller with DW2 drywalling, but it's just a great person. It doesn't hurt to have him come into Curry's either. There's just so many good things about Dale. He's just a great American, and give him a call, DW2 Drywall at 231-679-0475. That's right, 231 679-0475. Dale Whaley is DW2 Drywall. Greatest guy on drywalling end of it.
A trusted landscape design starts with the right team, and the right team to discuss what can be is Michigan Landscape and Excavate. This team is led by Michigan lifer Jeff Garrett. Jeff has assembled a team that knows that high customer satisfaction is why they stay in business. He requires his team to be the most professional service you've ever worked with for both residential and commercial accounts. Grading and land sculpting, trenching, excavating, septic systems, bulldozing, retaining walls, hydro seeding, seasonal cleanup, one-offs. They're a full-service landscape and excavation contractor. Michigan Landscape and Excavate create complete landscape solutions to be uniquely personal. As they say, now that's magazine worthy. They're committed to excellence. Text or call 231-349-4667 or email michigan.landscape.excavate@gmail.com.
All right, we are back.
Oh, this is exciting because I got Jen in here now. But I was going to say a couple of things. She brought up something I want to remind everybody. The tariffs, and I don't want to say anything about the tariffs, good, bad, or indifferent. It might take 2 or 3 years before they come into effect, but I know $2 or $3 trillion was lost, and people do not know what trillion is. I don't even know what a dollar is hardly. But it's $3 trillion were lost in 2 days. And I think everything is being done is going to work really well. But I want to talk about one thing. Jen had this is Jen Theodore, by the way. She owns 1039, and she and her husband Dom, which Dom is really a great guy. I don't want to say too much about Jen, though. No. I don't want to get her big head swelled, but I think she wants to talk a little bit what a great job she did at the Syrup Festival.
Bring my mic up.
And I think we had about 100 entries.
100?
50?
12.
12. Okay, but we had a whole bunch of
That's a lot.
syrup.
Have you ever tried 12 syrups?
You never have asked me.
No.
I would have been there. You got Gunther instead. You didn't ask for Pete.
I know. Well, you're not the mayor.
I know I'm not the mayor. I'm just lucky to be here, Jen. 80, going on 88, and I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
88?
Are you a connoisseur of syrup?
I am a connoisseur. Kathy Adams is one of my, I love her. She's like my daughter.
Oh.
And she has been giving me syrup, and I've helped her do syrup. I haven't helped. I watched the guys do syrup, and I've had that with. One time they spiked it with a little Jack Daniels or something. Oh boy, I almost want to come back and do some more syrup the next day. But I've done that and had a lot of good dinners out there, and with Jen. Jen's been out there, and we've had a lot of good food.
Carly Schuberg used to do syrup.
Yeah. Well, how did Carly Schuberg get on to Adams? I was talking about the Adams. Greg Adams is now commissioner.
We were talking about syrup.
No, I know, but we were talking about syrup. Okay, Jen, let's talk about the syrup.
Well,
or whatever you want to talk about, it's your station.
You're supposed to be filling in for Pat.
Give me that number.
I am here for Pat.
Give me the number here.
Am I doing everything?
Yeah,
give me the number. I'll call him right now.
No, I've got him.
Oh, okay.
Pat? Can you hear me? Okay.
Talk up a little bit,
You
Pat.
got Pete Kent on filling in for you, and he doesn't know what to say. Isn't that amazing?
No, he's doing a great job. I've been watching. Talking about the true Pete, how cheap he is.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. I love you too.
We're true friends, and just keep it up, Pete. That's all we can tell you to do. I've had a great trip here. I'm going to talk about it next Tuesday, and it's kind of sad when I'm gone like this. Things happen in Big Rapids. It doesn't stop.
Well, the one thing is they don't miss you at Curries. They don't miss you at Curries. It runs so smooth right now.
Yeah, well, people don't want to hear about that.
What do they want to hear about?
Well, I think they want to hear about people's interests. Like John Sacco, a great guy in Big Rapids, turned 50 years old.
He teaches with my daughter. He's with my daughter at Riverview. What else you want to talk about?
You say he lived with your daughter? He's married.
He's with my daughter. The Zaccos work with my daughter. They work together.
I thought you said he lived with your daughter. I apologize.
You are so bad, per Curry.
Yeah. Well, that happens in Big Rapids.
Penny, my condolences to you for having Pat.
Beautiful day down here in Ohio University land. I met some great people last night. I wore my Fair State football coat, my pullover, because I got out my shorts and everybody looked at me like, you do know it's 24 degrees here. And, it just leaves sunny Florida here a couple of days ago, and the sun is shining here in Athens, Ohio. Great people. Like I said, I met some nice people. I got a lot of stories to talk about when I get home.
I hope not too many, though.
I'll bet you do.
Well, yeah, but then Jason Knopf turned 50 years old yesterday too, so I got those two posted this morning, and then we'll talk a little bit about Mary Lloyd Deakins.
She passed.
She passed away. Yeah.
Was that Bob's wife? Was that Bob Deacon's wife, Pat?
No.
No,
brother.
But they're close. It's his daughter.
Okay, his daughter.
Yeah, and then.
It was Bob Jr.'s sister.
Well, you want to talk? You guys go ahead and talk. I'm going to hang.
Hey, Pat,
Bob
that was Joe. I was not interrupting you,
my
buddy.
grade,
I just do that in the studio when
Mary
you're here
was
with
a
me.
great person.
But I miss you. I miss you, Pat.
Well,
really.
You go ahead and talk about John Sacco, what he means to Big Rapids. He came out of Connecticut. He played football back in the 90s, I believe it was, for Ferris State. Jeff Pierce and his uncle Kavanaugh, I can't remember his first name, but he went on to the NFL, San Diego Chargers, I think. The coach.
We were talking about Zacco.
What's that?
I played softball with John or against John for years, and he was
there you go.
Heck of an athlete.
Go ahead, Pat. This is Pete. I want to hear some more stories. I'm sorry.
No, you're supposed to be filling in for him, Pete.
Oh, Pat,
We need to let Pat close his door.
Pat, I want to tell you something. There is no one, and I mean no one, I'm telling Jen right to her face, that can take your place.
Yes,
You're the best interviewer. I'm telling you, the best interviewer. You should go on the big national newscast and take over one of the big evening news slots. But you're not good looking enough.
No, that's right. Well, I got a nice tan now. I was telling Kim this morning, Wells, I think when you called from the station, that I told Kim, I think I got a better tan than you do. But, of course, he alluded to the fact that I've been there for 5 weeks or 6, whatever. He was only there for a week, but he was right down in Key West. So he was right there where it's sunny and hot.
Well, he's going to Mayo Clinic tomorrow, Pat, so say a few prayers for him.
Yeah, I know he does. Yeah, I'm going to miss him. Well, hopefully, we're going to be home here in about 6 hours, 6.5. It's just gorgeous. People go to Florida on 75. I'm going to tell you what, I have never had a better trip than I've had this trip. Of course, Penny helped it be a good trip. She's been a very good passenger. Not much when it comes to mapping out the roads, though. But no,
not a navigator.
I came up 95 to 77, went through Charlotte. That's a beautiful town. That's the town of Dolores Horn's daughter, Maria, and Marcia Horn. They both lived down there. Unfortunately, it was raining so hard, we wanted to get the hell out of there, and we did, but it rained hard. There was severe storms going through Midwest United States, as everybody knows. But anyway, that being said, I loved the trip, and then we got off at 33 and came through Ohio farmland, which looks more like solar panels now than does farmland. It's kind of sad that way. But it is what it is. It is blooming. The trees are blooming down here. The grass is green. And I'm going 68 miles an hour and 55, so I probably should slow down.
Well, you get back to driving, Pat.
How's Penny doing?
Yeah.
How's Penny?
You guys go ahead and get back to entertaining. But anyway, I love you all, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
I hope so, Pat.
See you tomorrow on the sports show.
Okay,
all
sounds good. Be careful driving, Pat. Bye-bye.
Really, WBZX Big Rapids, 9 o'clock.
I kid you about Pat, but I'm telling you something. He puts the glue all together. I'm kind of his sidekick. I was like Hopalong Cassidy and Smiley Burnett. I was just whoever it was.
Tim Conway.
Yeah, but
Tim
I'm just
Conway.
kind of like the side man. Pat's the leader of the group, and Joe is a nice-looking young man, really, and he's sitting up there tall. But he kind of gets clutched up a little bit every once in a while.
Well, it's hard to.
Prune juice, Joe. Prune juice.
It's hard to communicate, Pete, because you never know when somebody's going to interrupt and whatever. But
I never interrupt Joe, ever.
Yeah. I know that's like, what else don't you ever do?
Should we cut this thing off since Pat's not here?
We're going to have to cut
Pat.
both of you guys off, I think.
You think that's okay?
I think that the listeners understand. And
we're not Pat Curry.
No.
Well, before we wrap it up, let's take our second break.
Okay,
so
that sounds good.
This is our end of show here.
Yes.
All right, back with more Curry's Corner in just a moment on B1039. How special is your mom? Hopefully, she's one of the most treasured people in your life. Well, Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile thinks moms are the best, and that's why they're presenting the Marvelous Moms of Mecosta County. To honor your mom, or the woman who's been like a mom to you, Gilbert's wants you to submit her name and why she's special to you. The winner will receive $500 in window treatments from Graver. She'll be able to choose cellular, thaw wood, or roller shade. Area businesses will also provide additional prizes for the winner and runners-up. How to enter? Well, kids will be bringing home bookmarks with a special QR code. Just scan that code and enter the information, or simply stop into Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile. Restrictions apply. Employees and immediate family members of Gilbert's or their sponsors are not eligible. The drawing will be held May 12th on Facebook Live. Marvelous Moms of Mecosta County. A great way to say thanks from Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile. Additional prizes provided by Aloha Tan, E&M Hair, the Big Rapids Bowling Center, and Big B Coffee.
I'm Seth Wenger from Wenger Insurance. For more than 100 years, we've been providing professional service and competitive insurance to West Michigan. Come visit us on Perry Street in Big Rapids or give us a call at 796-0778. We're here for you now, and we'll be here when you need us most. 796-0778.
When the time comes to say goodbye, you need a funeral home that understands your family's needs. The Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus have been a trusted part of this community for generations. They do take care of every family like their own, and they hear it time and time again.
My name is Christina Beers. I would say there's lots of funeral homes in the area, but there's only a small few that can do it with class and with quality and with that personal touch and care. And I would put Janowitz Family Funeral Home at the very top of that list.
Let them help guide you through a challenging time with care, respect, and compassion. The Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus. Local, professional, and here for you when it matters most.
Okay, we're back on, and I'll tell you, we're only going to be on for about another 2 minutes. Jen gave me the throat sign. That means cut her off. But I did want to say about two people. Janowitz Funeral Home. It used to be years and years ago, I'm just saying Rogers Funeral Home, they used to have a barn out behind, and a skunk was in there. Well, guess what? I had a dry cleaners right behind there. Well, a skunk, I made a UPI or AP News, national news. The skunk walked in the back end of my cleaners to say hi to everybody, and he cut loose. I had to re-clean clothes for 2 days, and I think maybe Joe helped me a little bit.
All right, let me ask you this. How do you get skunk smell out of anything?
I have ozone units. Units and also exits.
Yeah,
we have all kinds of chemicals that take care of smoke and skunk.
We're not
But the other thing about Seth Winger, I first met Seth at Curry's, and he came in there and had a cup of coffee. I said, I wonder who this guy is. He's got a different car every week. He buys an Audi, he buys a Mercedes, he buys all kinds of cars. And so he moves from Canadian Lakes out here to Big Rapids. He bought Gunther's old house on Madison. And by the way, people, if you're listening out there, if the three people are listening, I hope I'm talking to, the house is still for sale. So you want a nice house with a nice swimming pool, you get out there and see Seth Winger. But Seth does insurance. He's in Baldwin. And he's in Big Rapids. He's in Baldwin more in Big Rapids. And he's very fortunate to be a very, very, very nice guy. He came to town, and I had him come do a insurance quote for me. And he said, you better stay with your son-in-law, Chris Zimmerman, because he gave you a nice quote. But about Seth Winger and his family, they just moved, by the way, to the Rockford area. And he's really a great guy. And Joe, he comes and has coffee with us. And have you got anything to say about Seth?
I knew Seth's dad.
Yeah, I know.
From Baldwin.
Head of the bank.
Him and Howard Blakely were close. And
people don't know who Howard Blakely is. He was a big cement man in Big Rapids.
My mentor.
He died about 50 years ago.
Why was he your mentor?
He was a big cement man. But why was he your mentor? He wasn't really.
He was not only a good cement contractor, he was a good person.
Why?
Why was he a good person?
Yeah.
I think he must have been raised that way.
He cared about people, Jen. He would
Give
ask
me an
people,
example of who he was, because I didn't know him.
Okay. We would be in a restaurant, we'd pour a floor, then we'd go have a coffee. And while we were in this restaurant, people would come up and they trusted Howard and wanted him to invest. Well, Seth's dad, for one, I can remember him come and talk to Howard. Would you like to invest in some property? And he always treated people fair and honest. And like he told me, he says, Joe, if you just do that, you'll do well in business. Don't worry about your competitors or whatever. Just treat people fair and honest, and you'll be successful.
And so what made you go, I want to listen to this guy?
Okay. He just had a commanding thing about him.
He did.
He was a man's man.
Yeah?
Yes.
Is there anyone like him right now?
Joe Bechaz like him.
Yeah, Joe.
Joe is really like him because Joe's listened to, he's respected, and he gets clutched up a little bit. And he doesn't know how to talk a lot. Yeah. But you hear him down at the restaurant, he talks all the time, never stops. I always say, Joe, give me that short version.
Nothing
but getting
like
back
you.
to Grant Blakely, Craig, not Grant.
Howard?
Craig was his son, and Craig was his son, and he was just like Joe said, he'd always listen. He had that big booming voice, and he never really talked fast. Kind of talked slow.
Yeah,
but he died way too young. And Grant Blakely is one of his sons, and so was Craig. And a lot of people don't know Craig. He passed.
Yeah,
but,
Craig and I. Craig approached me. He goes, "How would you like to pour walls?" I goes, "Pour walls?" I was doing carpenter work. And anyway, I go, "Oh, I don't have no money to do that." He goes, "You put up the back and I'll put up the money." And
that's what happened.
A year later, I bought him out, and he still poured the flat work and stuff like that. But
Joe did my basement, by the way, and it's still standing 38 years later.
Yes, thank you. Anyway, people like Mr. Winger and Howard, they were people to listen to.
Yeah.
Well, they were like a top tagger to Del Long in Big Rapids. John Berglund, Mert Crass. They were well respected in their community. And Mr. Winger, I didn't know Mr. Winger, but I know if he raised anything like his son, he was a great man, because his son is probably one of the most honest, nicest people I've ever met in my life. Not because he's Catholic,
okay,
but he's a good man.
Good to know.
And something, Jen, I think I got to go. Maybe. Is it time for us to get off the air or not?
I think it's time to wrap it up.
Okay, you haven't given me the throat deal yet.
No, it's one of these.
I didn't say the finger.
I said
Jen,
wrap it up.
I did not want the finger.
That's the pointer finger.
Okay.
I can give you another one if you want.
All right, so Pete, let me. Okay, I would give you one more here because the school board. So what's happening with the school board? Because I know that is your passion. You are the president of the school board.
Yep.
I think people would like to hear from the president of the school board. What's happening at the school?
Well, I want to tell you something. We have a great board. Number one, they're young, vibrant, and they're good thinkers. They know what they're doing, and they know how to put a plan together, a good strategic plan.
Who is the school board?
I'm Jeremy Mishler is one of them. Okay. Dave Murray is one of them. Okay. Me is one of them. Jeff Godfrey is one of them. Michelle Rasmussen, and Siobhan James, and my best friend who comes in. He works for Yoplait, Chris Venix. And so we have a young, vibrant school board, except for me. And I'll be 90 when my term ends. And if I feel like I do, and I know Jen's giving me these big puppy eyes here now, but if I feel like I feel, and I hope you guys would vote for me, I might run again at 90.
There you go. Why not?
I think for another 6 years, I'm good till I'm 100.
Got to do something.
Yeah.
But you asked me about the school board. We've done so much with a $24.9 million budget. and we remodeled all our schools. We put in air conditioning, we put in heating, we put in roofing, put in furniture. We've got great teachers. Our ratio is very good. We have a lot of parapros that help our teachers. And, we have our own kindergarten class.
Yeah, garden,
and
yeah.
we now go 5th through 4th at the elementaries. We go 5th through 8th at the middle school and then on the high school. But I went to the middle school. I was very concerned that we put 5th graders in the middle school. I went over there for 2 weeks after we did this, and, I felt very confident because we had their own wing. And, we have such great teachers. I can't even tell you. And about our superintendent, people they don't realize how lucky they are here in Big Rapids. We have great administrators. We have good principals. We have good teachers. We have good everybody. And, the gal that holds everything together is Deb Tyson. And Deb is assistant superintendent. And I guess the board president's a pretty nice guy, too. I don't.
Yeah.
What is his name, Bob, the board
Pete
president?
Kent.
Oh, thank you.
You
I
like
didn't
me
want to
saying
toot-
your name,
Didn't
I
want
know
to
it.
toot my
Okay,
horn.
Pete, we're going to wrap it up
All right,
now.
so
Okay,
let's
give me the
talk
sign.
to Joe
Wait a
Bechaz
minute.
for 2 seconds about the Old Timers game coming up.
Please.
Oh, yeah.
Bob,
Okay.
please.
We're trying to get the things that they came in to talk about that they never
Bob.
did.
It is about that time of year to take nominations for the Mecosta County Area Sports Hall of Fame and Old Timers game. I don't remember you being an athlete, Pete, but
That was a hell of an athlete.
anyway, it's about time to start taking nominations. So if you have anybody that you would like to nominate for the Sports Hall of Fame, just get a hold of me, 231-629-7632, and
I'm going to give you 2 people right now. Pete Kent II, who was a good all-state tennis player.
Okay.
My daughter, Christy Kent, was all-state. She played all 3 sports for the high school.
okay. And it's like I told you before, Pete, write up a little
No, you
resume.
didn't say that. Joe.
You have to submit just like everybody
You have
else,
to
buddy.
submit just like
Call him. I'm telling you.
all right. Anyway, you have to write. Anyway.
All right.
So anyway, the game and induction is July 3rd.
Right.
It's always July 3rd. So anyway, look forward to receiving.
Good deal. Well, thank you so
And
much.
thanks, guys, for filling in for Curry's Corner. Next week, we'll get Pat back in the studio. We want to thank Big Rapids Pennzoil and Auto Repair.
Thank God.
Seth Winger at the Winger Insurance Agency, DW2 Drywall, the Janowitz Family Funeral Home, and the Monk Janowitz Funeral Home.
Right.
Barreton Firearms and Training Center, that's Casey Namath. The Michigan Landscape and Excavate crew, and our friends at Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile. Thank
All right,
you,
Jen.
guys.
Jen, what are
and
we going to do with all this extra time now we have? Is that, you and me, all three, yeah.
Run now.
Save it.
Bye.
Save it for next week.
No, yeah, we'll need it. Yeah, it's kind of.
You're going to need all the time.
It's kind of banked. We'll be here until 12:30 next Tuesday on Curry's Corner.
Curry's Corner.
Brought to you by Big Rapids Pennzoil and Auto Repair. Seth Winger at the Winger Insurance Agency. Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile. Barreton Firearms and Training Center. DW2 Drywall.
The Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus.